Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. Small town feel with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
Well, it won't be much opinion making today. We're going to have musical entertainment from the 7/6 band, or at least 3/4 or 3/5 of it, right? Okay,
3/5.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I remember my math, barely, But anyway, so we have Mike Perdue, who's going on guitar and lead vocals. We have Michael Garcia over here, lead guitar and vocals, and Jerry Johnson, the bass, guitar, and vocals. But you don't bass today, do you?
No bass today.
Just the vocals, huh?
Yep.
Okay, good. And
We need to find him some spoons.
yeah. Yeah. He could be the maracas and play like, Ricky Ricardo or something like that,
Cowbell.
Yeah,
I should have brought our cowbell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a feeling the show is going to be a little bit more loose than what normally is the case, but that's fine, That's what we're here for. But y'all are playing this weekend for the Honey Tour and the Hot Sounds of Summer and all that other business, and y'all probably done that before, I'd imagine.
We did it last year. Actually, the year before we were asked to do it, and we had scheduling conflicts. So
Yeah. Well, because we are probably highly in demand.
we try.
But did Willie call and said, I need an opening act or something like that? Or I need a backup band?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hank called,
did,
so,
okay. From the grave or his son?
No, his son.
Okay.
I saw him once in a bar, and he was so hammered.
Oh,
It was,
really? There's
yeah,
a surprise.
it was-
Well, what's that song? Why do you drink? Why do you roll dope or whatever? Roll smoke?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yes, we're going to be
We're gonna
wandering a
have a
bit
fun show
today. Yeah.
This isn't your normal Mr. Allard's Neighborhood.
Let me get the bills paid here.
Yeah,
okay.
let's go.
The sponsors, they make this possible. I'm sure y'all are familiar with our place, with Otto. I was there this morning. I have some crew from my Sunday school class, and we try to solve the world's problems every other Thursday. And they don't listen to us, but that's fine. We just sit there, and it's a good group, And then we talk about some important stuff like football, like we're all coaches practically. And so it's a great place to do it. Great service, great food, whatnot. And
I introduced Michael and his family to our place, and they fell in love with it.
yeah.
Delicious.
You have small kids, right?
Yeah.
That's a good place for kids, because I got these, fun little pancakes and stuff like that, and they'll decorate them for you and all this other fun thing. Also, Otto has the Gina's Pizza, and
yes.
yeah, and it's really good pizza. Now, I was talking earlier, have y'all done his Sunday night show?
We've been asked. We just haven't been able to work it in our schedule. So.
Well, it's a good outfit. Susie Morgan does it once a month, and then you have these others. Kurt Dixon, you probably know these guys. I mean, the music community in Burleson, I'm sure, has like a tight little community.
James G. and all them,
Yeah, Brock DeWald.
Good
and
people.
They all play this venue, and it's I just like the pizza and the music and whatnot. And I like it when they're in the summer and watch the ball game and have a beer and a pizza and. Nobody.
I get a Gina special about once a week. So.
My goodness.
Sounds fantastic.
Well, he just
it's
opened up our place too.
I just passed that, and I was like, I knew it was there. I didn't know where.
Yeah,
I mean, I knew it was coming. So
Well, he's going to be on the show in a couple of weeks. He's hard to pin down. He's like such a big celebrity, but he'll be on the show soon. So thank you, Otto. Also, our friends over at Old Pro Roofing, John Williams, I help you out, 817-734-2756. He is busier than a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest right now. So he really, and that tells you a lot about just the need for roofing, but he's also very, very well-known now. And so John will come check your roof out. We got hailed on about a week ago. Did y'all get hailed on?
oh yeah,
I did not. I live up in Eagle Mountain. So
Oh, okay. Well, we got hailed on a little bit, so he's going to go check my roof out next week,
nice.
and it's not going to cost me anything unless there's repairs to be done, and he'll tell you yes or no. He won't horse you around and try to get you to pay for something you don't really need.
They've been around a long time.
Yeah, they have been. They were founded by a couple of brothers, the Aiken brothers, right? And one of them unfortunately passed away about 18 months ago.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah. Anyway, 817-734-2756. Also, if you're looking to move around this area, you have Jeff Kelly. You know Jeff, huh?
I was talking to him on Tuesday. He was texting me because he just landed in Antigua Bay or something.
He's Jamaica.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
He's showing pictures. Thank you.
Well, I had a contract coming in, and I was like, I need you to write this up
Yeah, well, I
for a new build. And so I had to call the builder, and the builder's going to write it up. So
Well, you probably know everybody in real estate in this area.
too many.
Too many, huh? Okay.
Jeff's my buddy, though.
Now, do y'all do that little group that also meets at our place? There's a group of realtors get together.
Every Thursday.
Every
It's
Thursday.
The Burleson Real Estate. The Burleson Area Tour Group is what it is.
Yeah, I know Alex Bedecker does it, and a couple others I've recognized. They come in after we leave.
Yeah.
So anyway, you get Jeff at 817-781-0546 or Jeff at jeffkellyrealty.com. He'll answer you even in Jamaica right now. So there you go. They send us these pictures and they said, I know what they're doing. They're trying to make us envious. All right. Also, Hotworks.
Oh, yeah.
You know them too, huh? Mm-hmm. Did your wife do it?
No.
Okay.
I can't remember the young lady's name.
Okay. Well, they have men customers as well. It's not all just ladies.
I didn't know that.
No. Yeah, she'll say that particularly you're a firefighter,
Well, I was
right?
about to say, up where I work, they offered us a free trial there because they built one across the street from the fire station. And we did one session there, and yeah, we were pretty tuckered out by the end of it. So,
Well, see, that's the deal, though. If you don't know what you need, Michelle Umphrey will tell you, say, I want this result. And she'll say, well, this is what will get you there. And she has 11 different options. And so you're not going to just go in there and sling iron around. You're going to have some professional supervision. And they don't have heavy weights anyway. It's
Correct.
Pilates and rowing and things of that nature. So it's a good place. It's 24/7. So if you wanted to, had a late shift, you could go over there and hit with the right code, you can get in. So it's over on John Jones, over by Kroger, over at the Burleson Commons, as they call
Roscoe's.
it. Yeah. Oh, Roscoe's, yeah.
Yeah. Coldest beer in town.
I have eaten there a few times. Now, back in the day, they were owned by a friend of mine. Are they still owned by the same couple?
I'm not sure.
Well, they had two couples that were partners, and one of the women was a colleague of mine in Burleson High School. Lindsay Pierce was her name. Is her name. And I just wonder if they still own that.
I don't know.
But anyway, they used to cater a lot of her stuff over at the high school.
Nice.
Also, we have our friend Local Life Magazine with Tiffany Jane. Will be coming out. Let's see. It's usually about the first or second day of the month, so that'll be about a week from today. It'll be coming out, or not quite, 10 days from now. Get your calendar right. Anyway, they always have really good local articles. Goes to 30,000 homes. Plus, they have locallifetx.com, so you can check out the webpage if you don't have one right there in front of you, so you can check out what's going on in the community. She always has nice articles about local folks. And I was talking to my buddy last night over at Burleson Buzz. His name is Cody O'Brien. He does a blog that keeps us up to date on what's going on in city council, keep them under check, school boards, various other stuff. And I asked him, he's been on sabbatical of sorts. He's his second-time father now, and so he's going to get back in the saddle probably within a week or so. So he took about a couple of months off. It's paternity leave. These millennials, we were right back at work, all right? You had a kid? Great, get back to work. Anyway.
Like my last kid that was born, I went and watched the baby come out and went back to work afterwards.
Well,
that sounds exactly like my two.
Mine, I was going to take like a day off. My kid first was born on a Saturday night after a all-night routine with inducing and whatever else. And I thought I was going to go back Tuesday, and I got roaring sick at the hospital, and so I missed like a week or more. But it's like when my dad was joking. I was born in a military hospital over in Fort Bragg, and he was scheduled to jump. He was a jumper, right? So he goes to his lieutenant and says, do you mind if, I pass on this because my son's about to be born? He said, Allard, get your ass in that plane. And so that's where he was when I was being born. And so
I saw something. This guy posted on Facebook. He was going through his parents' stuff. Their parents had passed away, and he found a leave request slip that his dad had filled out back in 1960-something. My son's going to be conceived this weekend, and I need to be there. That's what he put on there. And it was great. And I was like, wow.
I love it.
Well, that's proper planning prevents poor performance.
That's
what
right.
There you go.
I'll throw another P in there, but I won't say it today.
Yeah. Yes, let's keep it at least PG-13.
PG,
All right. Also, our friend Alric Warner, Bass Printing and Consulting. If you need promotional items, Al's the guy to talk to. I've used him for my promotional items. Cups, hats, shirts, pins, the whole 9 yards. You name it. If you want your name stamped on it, he'll get it done. He's over at the Hub, which is right here in town in Renfro. So Alric, it's ALRICK at bassprinting.com or at 817-616-8761. He's done several things for several people I know, and I'll come back really pleased with what they got. Also, 25% off shipping. And you can, if you're checking this on YouTube, you can see the long list of things that he could do. And he's brought some of the samples of his work and whatnot. And like I said, a lot of us in my networking group have used him, so it's a good deal. I don't think we have any nonprofit stuff this week, and we like to try to spotlight that. But we do, of course, have the Big Honey Tour, which is where you guys come in. You could be playing when exactly?
We are headlining Saturday night's concert.
I like
at
that
7:30.
headlining. Headlining is no. You're not gonna. No, sir. You're not gonna be. Opening up for anybody else, right?
No,
They'll be opening up for you.
Lydia
Right.
Joy Band is playing it before us. I think she's at 5 to 6:30, and then we're got an hour break, and then we'll go on at 7.
Well, I'm sharing this
7:30.
with various people, including, I bet somebody will know it. I just joined a group at Weekly Musical stuff going on in Johnson County. I just joined that page, so I just
Yeah, it's on
shared
there.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the deal. I'm sure y'all have real jobs, so to speak, but, you can't get rid of the musical itch. How long y'all been doing this? More than a week, huh?
A little bit more. I mean, I've been playing bass since 2001.
With this group?
No, not with this group. In general.
in
You're
general,
saying
okay.
just the musical itch in general.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, with this band for 3.5 years now, about. Yeah.
How long has the band itself been around?
5 years. We just had our 5-year anniversary.
Where does 76 come from?
Our zip code.
Zip code, okay. Well, that's kind of what I was going to
Everybody's
guess.
like, is it bicentennial? No, it's our zip code.
I was going to guess zip code, but I thought, nah, that sounds, too corny. I figured it's some deep meaning, and tell me I was right the whole time. Okay.
This helps everybody once they figure it out. So.
Yeah, well, and so y'all started out, play mostly country music and whatnot.
Yeah, we have fun with all kinds of stuff. So.
Really? So you play some Ramones, do you? Not quite. Yeah.
Not
We
quite
do some
that.
good classic stuff. So
Yeah. We just did, was it for the first time, Eddie Rabbit?
yeah, we did some old Eddie
Did some
Rabbit.
Eddie Rabbit.
Eddie Rabbit.
Yeah.
Well, see, my vast listening audience may not know who that is. But that's from the 70s.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, was that I Love a Rainy Night? Is that the
yeah. That's the
song?
the one we did.
Is it the, yeah, no. Wow.
It's a crowd.
I'm showing my
pleaser.
age. I would imagine a lot of your crowd's my age, so they probably know the song, but
Well, Michael likes throwing in these old '70s Waylon and
Waylon and Willie.
I love Merle Haggard. Yeah,
Merle Haggard.
I grew up on Merle Haggard.
Oh,
You
yeah.
bet. So did I. My
I
dad.
still love listening to him. It just brings back so many memories.
The three things I heard growing up at my house was Merle, Johnny Cash, and the Ballad of the Green Berets, over and over again. So,
yeah. If you were an Army brat, then,
yeah. So I heard all that. And my dad was a Green Beret, so I had to learn
that's
his
cool.
words and all that stuff. But it's but Merle, of course. I mean, that's just required.
Well, Michael and I grew up in basically house full of musicians. So I mean, he was Lord. I was roadieing for my dad at an early age, like him, and
Yeah.
started playing probably in 1976, 77. So quite a while. So,
When you were a young boy, huh?
and then his dad and grandfather took advantage of him
Yeah.
Yeah,
as a roadie.
Yeah,
Free labor.
yeah, of course. You got all the free labor. You're toting all the amps and all the other stuff, and so they taught you to play, though, or did you teach yourselves?
I taught myself. I kind of locked myself in a room. I started seriously taking it seriously when I was probably a junior, maybe mostly a senior in high school. And then when I was a sophomore in college, I didn't play guitar for about 6 months in freshman year, and then sophomore in college, I my GPA dropped like a whole point and a half because
No.
all I did was play guitar for
Which
like
school
8
is
hours
this?
a day. This is UT Pan American back in Edinburgh, South Texas, and but that's when I discovered like Brent Mason, who plays on Alan Jackson, Brooks and Dunn, created that '90s Roadhouse sound. So
Alan Jackson, I just read, has going to have one more show and that's it.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's done.
He's one of my very favorite. If you like country gospel, his 2 albums are the best. Period. That's it. I mean, I like country gospel, and I got some songs by Willie and by Merle and all. Alan Jackson, at what I understand, he did these country gospel albums because his mother asked him to do it. He said, his mom wanted him, she's an old Baptist, like he is, I suppose, and she wanted some country gospel. And so he made her a couple albums. Wow. And they put them out there, and they sell big, so.
Your sister just worked a Alan Jackson show, right?
Yeah, the Country Music Award that was over
the CMA?
or CMA at the Star. Yeah, she sent me a whole picture of all the guitar racks and all that they were.
Where Alan Jackson's all his stuff.
Yeah, it was a massive case of.
He doesn't need it anymore, so
Man, I don't understand. How many guitars you guys have? I mean, probably a couple, right?
I have four at home.
I have 5 basses. That's down from a collection of 15 or so. So
Okay, and you guys answer me this. Sorry, the guitarist for Queen, Brian May, and guitarist for Cheap Trick, Rick Nielsen have like 200 guitars each, and I'm like, you can only play one at a time. Willie Nelson's been playing that what we call Trigger or whatever since the dawn of time.
120 years.
Yeah, he's played it so long he's worn a hole in it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, okay, I get it. But you have all these guitars. Why so many?
For me, at least on the bass side, each bass I have is just a different style. They all sound a little bit different, have different tone to them and such of that nature.
So they really do sound different. They're not just a bass is a bass is a bass.
Very much so.
Okay. Well, okay, if you say so.
How many do you have?
I've got 2 tellies and I've got a Gretsch. And then I got a baritone acoustic and a regular acoustic. And that's all I got. But going back to that, I think most people, like Vince Gill has like 300 Telecasters or something like that. But if you look at it, they're assets. So in a way,
correct.
So in a way, they probably get them appraised and they borrow an insurance policy against them and take the money out. That's what I was thinking.
Well, I would guess if you say I bought a guitar from Vince Gill, you could say with his name on it or something. Yeah, it'd be worth something.
It's worth valuable.
Yeah. But it's still
That guitar Michael's playing, I bought it for like $125. It's worth like $1,300 right now.
Really?
Because they don't make them like that.
Well, I guess so. I
bought it at Oceanside, California, off the Camp Pendleton base, and I was like, "How am I going to afford this $125 guitar?"
Well, okay.
No, we put that in gas in our trucks.
Yeah, on this young Marine pay that I get. So.
I heard they pay just lavishly in the Marines.
Oh, yeah.
And they're very kind. But will you please get up? It's time. Okay. Oh, well, I'll give you another half hour to sleep. Is that how it works in the Marines?
Yeah, hurry up and wait.
Yeah, my dad, who I've talked about on the show, has Alzheimer's. But he if you want to talk Army days, he can go all day.
Oh,
right?
I love it.
And he talked about the first time he jumped, and they said, I asked him, so what happens if they're filing out the side door in a hurry? And I said, what happens if somebody pauses, has a second thoughts about this? And I said, that's why the sergeant with the, 13 triple D boot is there waiting for you to encourage you might say.
Encourage.
Yeah.
I like planes. I don't want to jump out of them.
Yeah,
So
well,
I prefer to stay in them.
yeah, well, I asked him one time when he did that, and he said they paid better. So, okay.
Yeah, you do get hazard pay. So.
So he said, I needed the money. But anyway, I'm off track. Anyway, so as far as performing, you perform all over the area. You're talking about it's going to be at the Texas Bar, the Sky Bar, I assume.
Yeah, Michael and I are doing an acoustic show. As soon as we come off stage on Saturday night, we're walking over to Old Texas and doing an acoustic show.
And then, where else have you played in the last few months, I guess, around this area?
I don't think.
We played Station 330. We've played Spice Rack. That's acoustic stuff. Lumberyard.
Do a lot of shows at Hoots.
Yeah.
It's on 1187, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I've never been in there. Is it okay for somebody? You
It's
just
wonderful.
Okay, so we're not talking about
It
like.
is a true old honky tonk.
All right, so we're not talking about like some Harley Davidson bar with
No.
you better walk in there well
No,
armed.
that's probably the most like down to earth bar I think there is. Like it's a very welcoming
Okay, good.
bar, and they bring a lot of good talent. Like they're starting to bring a lot of good talent.
Yeah.
They're also about to do a big remodel to
Oh, yeah.
be a
Massive.
much bigger music venue as opposed to a bar with a stage. They're going to be a stage with a bar.
Do they sell beer at this Hoots?
Oh, yeah.
Very
Lots
much.
of it. Lots of it.
Lots of it. Yeah. Okay.
We have some stuff coming up in the stockyards here later this year, but I mean, we've been so. I don't want to say burned out, but I guess it is that we don't have a lot booked for the second half of this year, so which I'm kind of enjoying. So
Well, you actually got to take care of business because
we
you all have real jobs.
full-time jobs and kids.
Correct.
So, Jerry, you said you're a firefighter. Which
Yes,
for
sir.
whom?
I work for Arlington Fire.
Okay. They treat you okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Best fire department in the
Go to
Metroplex.
Hotworks and get a
okay.
facial for free.
He
so.
finally said it.
Yeah, finally.
We never say it at shows.
A free facial, huh? It's well, I have a lot of ex-students that I want to be a fireman or fighter. I've had a couple of young ladies want to be firefighters, and I said it's harder than you think, guys.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Actually, side job, I teach Fire Academy for Weatherford College also.
Oh, really?
So help train the people that are coming up in the job and then work with them when I've actually had 4 people from my class come work for Arlington Fire, and I get to see them go from learning it to actually doing it.
Well, Centennial High School has that program, and it's worked out pretty well for a couple of people I know. But it's a tough gig, and Because they think, oh, it'd be great, get to ride around in the truck and, pet the dog. I don't know, whatever.
The last 2 weeks, he's been sitting out at the Speedway in the circle out there, sitting in an ambulance. He's got a tough job.
That's another side job. I work Texas Motor Speedway EMS. So, like when NASCAR comes through or any of the events they have at the Speedway, we work EMS standby for that.
I just drove by that Saturday, and that place is immense.
City.
Very much so.
Yeah, but back in the day, it was just pasture. All right, and Michael, what do you do for a living?
I'm an insurance broker and a real estate agent.
Is that right? So that how you met him? You're selling real estate?
No, we met each other through Bandmix. Bandmix, right? Bandmix.
It's a phone app.
So it's like a social media app for musicians, and he messaged me, or he said he was looking for somebody because it gives you like reminders, like, hey, people were looking at your profile. And then I messaged him. I said, hey, man, if you ever need somebody to fill in, just let me know. And then he sent me a song list, and I was like, well, I know like 80% of your songs. And then I went and auditioned.
We canceled the rest of them.
Yep, pretty much.
Well, that's a good thing. And then, Mike, you're into mortgage brokerage,
Yes, I run the Perdue group for Johnson County. For Service First Mortgage here in Johnson County.
And you told me you're pretty busy.
Very, very busy.
Well, that's good to hear because, we hear things, we read things, and then, the media makes it sound like,
Don't let rates fool you because we are slammed right now. So.
Well, I've been told, and you can verify this, I've been told by real estate people, and I have another friend, Camco Mortgage, you probably know them, Sammy Joe Campbell and Candy Gow. Okay. And they tell me, buy the house, refinance later because the house price won't come down.
Date the rate.
Yeah.
Marry the house, date
Correct.
the rate.
Yeah, well, that's what happened when my wife and I, we haven't moved in 30-something years because we thought we were like our house, so what's the point? But when we first built our house, the rates were 9.5.
8.5 was my first.
Yeah.
It was a VA assumable. I was jumping for joy.
Yeah. But when it started dropping, we started refinancing. And so, I couldn't afford my house now because of the equity, but, by refinancing. Plus, I took money out of the house to repair it. Took money out of the house to help pay for college for the kids and that kind of thing. So it's lots of fun. Now, as far as the type of music you play, it's mostly country. Yeah.
A lot of red dirt, which is a style here in Texas.
Well, what's the difference between red dirt and, say, any other style of country?
Hey, you want to take that?
I'm trying to think of the best way to describe that.
Yeah. It's because I've heard that phrase a lot, and it's like, you know what, when you hear it, but it's hard to kind of
It's kind
put
of
into
like,
words.
I would say it's like the difference between like Nashville country and Texas country would be the best way to really kind of try to pin it down a little bit.
Definitely not Georgia, Florida line or anything like that. It's
Well, see, I'm old school. When I like country music, I listen to all kinds mostly, except opera. Not into that. But but as far as country, I like country music, not polished up pop. All right.
yeah, definitely not pop.
Yeah, I don't.
A lot of these red dirt artists, they have full-time jobs and they work their butt off, and then they go and play guitar at night. And
Well,
then once they've realized it, they start leaving their job and start doing it full-time, and a lot of them struggle. And hats off to them because they work their butts off.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have a husband of a second cousin, my mom's cousin, who went to Nashville, and his wife said, "I'll give you 5 years." And it didn't happen. And that's the story for most people, I'd imagine, because I've heard him play. It's been many, many years since I've heard him play, probably 25 at least. He's very good. But the point also is that he, he's like a lot of other guys. But that whole Nashville sound, what I've heard, is a bit polished, a bit more, I don't know. It try to hit certain marks. What I like country music is like authentic, I guess, the best word. And also, for whatever reason, I really like Texas swing, Bob Wills, and
this
that
is
crowd.
going way back.
Yeah, I like way back. I just like it. I think being an old history teacher, maybe I can just it means something.
Mike's been to Nashville quite a bit, so
Yeah, it's my first time there was fantastic. I went for work, but my buddy was going up there. He was a songwriter, total like bachelor pad. Like this thing was. I walked in here and I was like, maybe I should go get a hotel.
Yeah.
But he welcomed me and we went and we checked out. So I met Luke Combs' piano player. Didn't formally like introduce. He was playing, but my buddy was good friends with him. And they were like just doing covers in George Strait Manager's bar. And it was a second story bar playing it, and they were killing it. Like. Killing it, and I was like, and they're just playing for tips. That's what it is. But it's a really fun place, but he's a hustler, so he was out there, and he's like, I have to make ends meet. So and he lived for 4 months in his car, and he bathed at truck stops and whatnot, called in friends and whatnot. So, but it's a really cool place, and what I like about it most part, and back home in South Texas, it was like if you had a songwriter session or you had like an open mic where people were doing songs that they written. Everyone's so noisy and non-complimentary when it comes to that. And in Nashville, when songwriters are on stage and they're singing, you don't hear a peep in that bar because they're listening to the songs and they're wonderful. Like I was shocked. There was 4 ladies up in this bar, and every one of them had killer originals, killer vocals, played guitar the way you're supposed to play guitar. It's just a really cool place. But I think that I guess you just have to really hustle and just know that you're going to be exhausted, but if you put in the time, it's worth it.
Well, it's interesting you talk about the audience, because I'm sure some of y'all's venues, y'all are background music. And I just kind of wondered, I watched the guys play in some of these places I've been. I'm thinking, hey, they're playing here, pay attention. They work, but everybody's just talking and chitter-chattering and whatever else. Is that kind of y'all feel?
I'll say thank you, both of you, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll say something like that just as a
clap,
joke. And then people realize it's like, hey, they're playing along.
Yeah. So I always I don't know if I feel badly for them, but it's like I empathize with them a little bit, because you're out there playing, you've performed, you practiced, you've sacrificed time. Your families have probably sacrificed some to make this happen. Say, at least pay attention. This isn't background music, but that's part of the gig, I suppose.
That's part of it.
Well, I tell you what, it's part of the gig. Why don't y'all play us a song?
What you want to do?
Yeah.
All right. And you going to vocalize with them?
Yeah, I'll throw in my vocals just a little bit here and there.
I don't know what kind of sound quality you get. That's going to be up to Josh. You got it all figured out over there?
Yeah, good to go.
Good to go. Okay, I'm going to take this off so I can hear it better.
You want to do one?
You want to do the original?
Yeah, we'll do an original. This is one of ours.
Yeah.
This is from the song, my buddy in Nashville who wrote this song.
Right.
Gave it to us, and so we sat on it for like
A year?
A long time.
It, so.
Okay, so this
We
is an
finally got
original
off our
song.
butts
All
and
right.
started.
All right.
6 strings and an old guitar, silver bullets under shooting stars, pushing luck just a little too far when we finally got the keys. Burn the night and roll the high, a little smoke just to pass the time, a bittersweet when we say goodbye, wishing we didn't have to leave. It was good timing all night, I ride with that girl beside me, thinking we were gonna make it all the way. Getting shut down at second base. It was beer, drinking, smoke, breathing, big dreaming, thinking we were leaving that piece of heaven in a cloud of dust. But looking back, that town made us. Battle wounds and ugly scars, lead to love, got some beat up hearts. I never learned a lesson that I didn't learn hard, and it's all a part of me. It was good timing all night, I ride with that girl beside me, thinking we were gonna make it all the way. And getting shut down at second base. It was beer and drinking, smoke, breathing, big dreaming, saying we were leaving that piece of ribbon in a cloud of dust. But looking back, that town made us. It was good timing. It was good timing. It was good timing all night. I ride with that girl beside me, thinking we were gonna make it all the way. Getting shut down at second base. It was beer, drinking, smoke, breathing, big dreaming, saying we were leaving that piece of heaven in a cloud of dust. But looking back, that town made us.
growing up in a small town.
Yeah, well, and it's also about baseball because I heard about getting shut down at second base. So I guess
exactly
that's,
it. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
baseball.
Hey, thrown out, trying to steal. I get it. Okay, I like baseball. Yeah, that sounds like hometown, doesn't it? That's excellent. Y'all wrote this. Well,
No, my buddy from Nashville. wrote it.
well, that's
yeah.
an original song.
Yeah, he wrote it though.
By the way, Josh,
And he gave it to us and said, "Do what you want with it." So
Josh, pay attention if Facebook is the issue because sometimes they can be about live music. I don't know why, because they're just that way. But YouTube,
well, it's our
whatever.
song, so
Yeah, I hope so. Well,
No, we're good so far.
I've had Derek Weathers and Brock DeWalt sing live music, and I didn't have trouble. But you never know with these guys. But y'all write a lot of your own music?
we started, and we've got how many? We have 3 or 4 right now that we need to record.
I don't remember. Yeah.
When you say record, you going like in the studio?
Yeah.
all that. Where would that happen? I don't know if it looks
Various places. So, Forward Sound. I mean, there's several of them out there.
Okay, so this is not like you're going to have to pick up stakes and go somewhere to do it.
No, we can do it locally. Yeah.
Oh, well, is that expensive?
I don't know. It can be.
It adds up quick.
Well, I mean, you got to rent the studio. You probably don't need these session players, I would imagine.
No, we do it all ourselves.
Yeah, so that'd be great, though. You got to try it out. Now, I was talking with Jerry before. You guys are out in the hallway. I don't know what y'all are doing, but we were talking before on my radio station. I could play these songs if you have them recorded somewhere. I need your permission.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
But if they're on YouTube, I could. I was thinking
That song we just did is on all the streaming channels.
like YouTube.
YouTube,
No,
Spotify.
it is
it's on YouTube,
yeah.
Spotify, Tidal,
Apple,
all the everything.
iTunes?
Amazon Music,
iTunes,
iTunes.
All right,
Amazon.
see, that's how I got DeWalt stuff. I could just buy it and it'd be that way. There won't be any questions about it. So we'll have to look under the 7/6 band on Spotify. I want to look right now.
Correct.
All right, and see what we got here.
Spell out 7, number 6.
You want to do Old Johnny?
Yeah, you'll do that while I'm looking y'all up.
I'll throw Mike on. Mike can sing one here.
Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
I hear that train coming, it's rolling around the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and town keeps dragging on. And that train keeps rolling on down to San Antonio. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't never play with guns. I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. That train keeps rolling, I hang my head and cry. I bet this rickshaw seating in a fancy dining car. They're probably drinking coffee, smoking big cigars. Well, I know I had to come. I know I can't be free. But those people keep moving, and that's what tortures me. But they freed me from this prison, and that railroad train was mine. I'd move it off a little farther down the line, far from Folsom Prison. That's where I want to stay. And I let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away.
I got to say, Mr. Garcia, I'm pretty impressed with your picking. you. That's
Chicken biggin.
yeah, that's pretty good. I always like acoustic leads like that because you hear rock and roll leads like that all the time, but I like it. It's I don't know. That song takes me back. I mentioned before how in my house was Merle and Johnny. and I remember hearing Johnny Cash's album. I forget the one. My dad played this song over and over, A Boy Named Sue, over and over again. I'm like, oh, Dad, come on. Or there's another one, but he had a couple albums that he recorded in prisons. Okay, just classics from the 60s, and he still has them. All right, and so I had told Dad, I mentioned my dad's kind of drifting a bit, I said, do not let these albums leave the house, all right? Because these are the originals. These aren't like reprints. Now, what kind of shape they're in, how much money they're worth, who knows? But it's just really neat to see that. That's excellent. While y'all were playing, I was checking you all on iTunes and Spotify, so I can buy the music and bang, it's just like that. What I was thinking about to do is maybe have a show, I could schedule it on the live 365 radio station I do, and local burleson acts, and as long as it's in the right format, it's easy to do. Yeah. And when you buy them off YouTube, they're in the right format. Or not YouTube. I could convert them into the right format. Buy them off iTunes. They're already in the right format, so just like that.
Jerry covers all of that for us. I don't know all of that stuff. So
I don't know much about either. Taylor helps me out. A friend helps me out. But basically, it's MP3 is the basic format. Correct. And when you buy it off iTunes, that's what you're going to get. And so you don't have to worry about conversion. Now, Facebook and YouTube, there's software for it all over the place, and it's not a real big deal. I've been told conflicting things about Spotify, that if you just pull it off Spotify and convert it, you're fine, or you may run afoul of copyright. So that's why. Besides, if I buy it, you'll get the whopping big royalties that iTunes pays, right?
When we were uploading it, they were giving us hell for our logo of all reasons. It was weird. Yeah, I don't remember
what their issue was with it, but I remember we had an issue with them.
We had to go and change something on the logo. I think it was something when it said established.
Yeah, that
2021.
They established.
They like what?
They didn't like the word established for some reason on the cover art.
Yeah, on the cover art.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know.
Well, I'm going to see. Y'all sent it to me, I believe. I'm going to switch it around here, and I'll see if I can get it to Josh. Hey, Josh, I'm going to put it on Taylor's email, okay? And so they could put it up towards the end. I probably should have done that earlier, but I've been busy. You know how it is. All right. Anyway, so why don't you play one more song while I do all this technical stuff? You got anything else?
Oh, you look at me. You're the lead singer.
Yeah. What are you going to play?
Let's see.
We'll do Marshall Tucker. We'll do a portion of it.
Well, I'll do a portion then, at least.
I'm gonna take a freight train down at the station long. I don't care where it goes. I'm gonna climb a mountain, the highest mountain. I'll jump off, nobody gonna know. Oh, can't you see? Oh, can't you see what them on love been doing to me? Can't you see? Oh, can't you see what that woman love been doing to me?
There we go.
Well, that's really good. I have that song. It's on the playlist.
Yes.
It's, in the 70s, we had a lot of country rock kind of thing going on. A lot of Eagles and stuff like that.
Oh, gosh. We don't do any Eagles. And that's my all-time favorite group. So,
well, there's their logo right there. Okay, so Josh is Johnny on the spot, so to speak.
Thank you, Josh.
All right, but we have back in the 70s, early 70s. That's when that country rock started coming in, Eagles and Ronstadt and all that other stuff, and I really love it. And Taylor says y'all are rock stars, I guess. But
thank you, Taylor.
But as far as that whole genre of music, I mean. And like every other genre, it gets commercialized. It gets when that a cowboy movie came out, Urban Cowboy. I don't know if you ever seen it. John Travolta on it.
Many times.
Okay.
Are
And
you
Al,
Sissy or Pam? Team Pam or Team Sissy?
I can't get my way through it. I tell you the truth, because it's so commercialized. You know what I'm saying? That whole genre just didn't do it for me. I like country music.
They tried. They tried.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 'cause,
So Michael's, I wish you would talk about it. Your background on how you got started. That's what's fascinating. I love that.
Yeah, so my back in the late 70s, early 80s, there's a new genre out now. It's called Chicano country, but my grandfather was the founder of it back in the valley. So I'm from the Rio Grande Valley, and in the late 70s, story is he had a band. He had a play in Falfurias, and his band just kind of just said, we're not going. So my dad was the only boy out of 7 girls. So,
Oh, boy.
so my dad naturally took to drums, and my dad started playing with them age 10. But they had this, it's called the Country Rolling Band. And so they got really big, like seriously big, like making 5 digits a weekend big back then. And they had a lot of success putting classic country in Spanish. And so just going on, I grew up in that. I didn't really understand it because he was just grandpa to me. But they got back into it like 94, 95. And that's when I started seeing them like practice in my dad's shop. And then they started playing bars, and I would go help set up on Fridays. And that was the most exciting time because we got to like play and like sit in, and like I dabbled with piano and drums and bass. And then, but then I really took to the guitar. My brother's a guitar player, my older brother. My dad plays guitar and sing. My dad just retired a few years back. And he's got an amazing YouTube video. He does, I can't think of that George Strait song right now. He does a cover of that one, but it's under Country Rollin' Jr. But I grew up in it, and I had cousins I played with, aunts I played with. We played up until probably the last couple of years that my grandfather passed. And those are some fun gigs. Not every gig's a fun gig. I'll say that. Growing up, it was.
I bet.
Sometimes I was like, my dad loved to play 4 hours straight with no restroom breaks or anything, and it was just like, oh man. But I miss that time because those 2 times I spent with my dad, and now that I've moved away, I've been 7 years away from home. I don't get to see him all the time, so I cherish those moments that I had with him, even though sometimes it wasn't the best times. But yeah, I grew up in it, and then I just really started taking it seriously, and then. Since I've been up here and I've been playing with Mike, I got introduced to a lot of people, a lot of artists, and been fortunate enough to work with a lot of people now. And I think recently, like I've probably played guitar more than I have in the past, 10 years.
That's good.
But it's been good. It's been great. And
Sherry Scott here's gives some appreciation for you.
Sherry.
Thank you, Sherry.
Yeah, she's one of my more valuable listeners, you might say. She's on quite a bit, and I've had her husband on a couple of times too. And I'm glad to hear his health is doing better. Hey, that's great because everybody you talk about Burleson music. Of course, I go to Kelly Clarkson and all that, and that's all great. But there's a lot going on around
There's
Johnson
so
County.
many talented people.
Yeah,
here in
Johnson County's really got it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people in Collin County would tell you the same thing. But do you go outside of Johnson County?
Yeah.
I mean, or not just Tarrant County. I'm talking about you may go all the way to McKinney, for example. They got a pretty
That's
decent live
7.5 zip code, so I don't know.
I don't know.
No, I'm
yeah.
just kidding.
Well, I grew up. I grew up
we
in
will.
Plano when Plano was not what it is now. But McKinney has a downtown area and it has a pretty good live music scene going on.
McKinney, Collin County, Ellis County. We love all that stuff.
So you'll make the trip, huh?
Yeah.
What's too far?
I don't think there's like I've recently
Money talks.
Yeah. Recently, I've been driving to Midland to go play a lot of shows over there, and it's
You would drive into Midland.
driving to Midland, middle of the day, and then playing,
Coming back and playing with me the next
same
day.
night. Yeah, so it's been, but it's reasonable. We're not going to go play for a couple $100. It's got to be doable.
Got to have some
We're
money
not playing
on
for
the
tips,
table.
so
Yeah. So I'm sure when y'all put this band together and y'all get together and talk and rehearse and whatever else, they'll talk about the future. What do you want to see happen for the 7-6 band? Do you want to be bigger, I guess, and have
I'd
like
like to have bigger venues, big, private events. I like doing private events. They're a lot of fun.
and they probably pay decent, I'd
They
imagine.
were very decent.
Well, I mean, you see yourself like on the radio. You see yourself, playing, for a live audience at the CMA or something like that, or at Grand Ole Opry. I don't know.
I'm just having fun.
Okay.
Me personally.
So it's not like, you're some of these starving musician types. You're enjoying what you're doing, and you'll take it as far as it'll go, right?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
And if, Nashville comes calling or where, is there any other place other than Nashville besides that does country music producing? Or is that that's where you have to go
It's
to get it
everywhere
done?
in Texas. I mean, I think Texas music is really its own business now. And
I hope so.
You don't really need to go to Nashville to do it. Don't get me wrong, Nashville's great, but you don't need to go to Nashville to make it now.
Well, I've always liked Texas music a lot.
Yeah.
Texas has got, I'm sure every state thinks so, but I'm just trying to find out, what does Iowa country sound like? Who cares, right? Or, is there Idaho country? That didn't strike me as like a genre that we'd recognize, but I love Texas music. And occasionally on the radio, I'll put Texas blues on, Stevie Ray Vaughan and early ZZ Top, not the commercialized crap they put on in the 80s, but good stuff in the early days. And I think Texas has as much as any state, as much as Tennessee, much as Mississippi, to talk about when they talk about music.
I'm just having fun. We're all married. We all get along, all have kids.
Yeah.
You got 3 under 10 and under. So
Good luck with that.
we play because we have fun playing. So
Jerry, how many do you have?
I've got 2 kids, 10 and 11.
Oh my gosh, guys! And
mine are grown now.
Yeah,
so,
I thought you told me last time you were
and
here.
Lewis has 2 under 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Todd, our drummer, he has 1 under 2.
Yeah.
So
Good heavens! Well, so it kind of keeps you close to home. Our friend Mr. Ash in Cleburne says hello. You ever played in Cleburne?
yes, we have several times actually.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I was at a meeting yesterday to it's a big event coming up in September, and I just booked it on our app yesterday. I didn't even talk to these guys about it, but
I was about to say, what, huh?
it's
Hello.
September 27th, and it is to raise money for the Frontline Equine, which is
they've been on the show.
And
I know
so
about
we
them,
met with
yeah.
them yesterday, and
Frontline Equine,
we're
yeah.
going to do a 250th birthday celebration for the Army, Navy, and Marine Corps.
It's ironic you say that because I'm going to give them a holler because I got some open dates in summer. Summer bookings are a little looser because everybody's on vacation, whatever else. And I was going to give them a holler. How about
Well, they're
that?
going to do a pasture party, which is flatbed stage, and it's a big event that we had our first meeting on yesterday.
Well, I have
and
to
they
get
want
them
us-
back on again.
Yeah, they're good people.
And they gave me a hat and everything.
Yeah, I got my hat,
Yeah. So, well, Josh, if you throw up the radio stations, well, first of all, our friends over at 88.3 The Journey they'll promote shows. They don't play my show; they promote it. That's good enough, because they're playing Christian music. They don't want these heathens, whatnot. But anyway, I might say something. Oops. But anyway, but 88.3 will promote what's going on. And then on the radio station is, for me, is Community Radio TX, and it's on Live 360. Say it right, dummy.
Live 3.
Yeah, I always get the tongue tied. Live 365 and tune in. And then, it's also, I don't play it on Apple and Spotify, but the show will be on it tomorrow about this time.
Nice.
Okay, so, and I'll be putting the show on. I would put it on at 6 o'clock tonight, but I've told you earlier, I'm having to make a trip to Corsicana, then to Dallas, and back to Corsicana, and so it'll be on tomorrow at 1, and I'll probably try to squeeze it on some other time. But it's
Nice.
So you'll get some coverage, I hope.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
We're doing a 90-minute show on Saturday nights. Bring your lawn chairs, your blankets, and free free admission, free parking, and go down there and
I forget the young lady that runs that place. What's her name?
Jessica,
I believe it runs the Texas Bar or that whole restaurant. What's her name?
Old Texas.
Yes.
Oh, Jamie Collier.
Jamie. That's it. That's always, is it Jamie or is it Jessica or Jennifer?
Jamie Collier.
All right. I've met her about once or twice at the Burleson Chamber event. Very nice young lady.
And we'll keep it clean on Saturday night. So if you want the crazy stuff, then come over to the brewery afterwards, and you'll hear us doing an acoustic show. So
Yeah.
How long are we playing at the brewery?
9:30 to 11:30.
Till they give you the boot.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple hours.
Okay.
Well,
Did not know that.
What?
Did not know that.
You knew we were
I knew
playing
we were
there.
paying. I just didn't know that what time we were playing it.
Oh yeah.
well that's going to
We
be
get
great.
about a 15-20 minute break between shows.
Oh yeah.
Well, of course, this big hunting tour starts really, I guess, today at 5. They're going to do a soft opening, all those rides. And with y'all's kids, I bet that's going to be a great thing to do with them, right? And so that'd be a lot of fun because I drove by there this morning and they're all set up primarily. So there'll be there at 5
I'm
till
so
about
glad
10.
they're back in Old Town.
I did too.
So,
Yeah, I did too. I was talking to last week. I had 2 representatives from the Burleson Parks and Rec, young lady named
I
Allison.
saw Elizabeth. on
Elizabeth,
here,
you know her, okay?
Yes, I know Elizabeth.
And so they got a lot of good compliments about it 2 years ago, but I think last year they had construction going on or something like that. And so that's going to be a ton of fun.
We had a generator for our
I was about to ask
sound
if it was
last
the
year.
same place that we had the generator issue.
During the show last year, 8 times the power went out, and we were just like, and one of the times, one of the songs we were doing, "Can't You See," as a matter of fact, and we just kept playing with no power. And then the crowd started doing all the vocals for us.
Oh, sure.
And then when the power came back on, it was right in sync. I don't know how we did that, but it was really cool.
It wasn't weather related, just a generator issue or something?
I think it was generator issue.
I think they didn't have a big enough generator to house all these speakers and all the equipment that we were trying to run.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to worry about that now, right?
No, we're back at Old Town. So
Yeah, that Vera Calvin Plaza, I gotta say it right. That's one of the best things we've ever done. In fact, I saw Facebook posting, and it's like 5-year anniversary or whatever. But it's been fantastic for this community because all the stuff.
They've got the same sound guy that they've had for years, so, in Logan, and we like working with him.
Well, and I'm looking forward to it. I really am because I think it's one of the best things this
You
community.
want to come out and introduce us? I'll bring you up on stage. You can introduce us.
People might leave after that. I got to go. Allard's part of this. I didn't know that. But anyway, but the weather should be pretty good. I mean, they're talking about maybe
30%,
something like that.
at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm not a real big believer in weather anyway because you get these guys and they tell you Armageddon's coming. Oh, it went off to Jacksboro.
I looked this morning. I think it's 85 at showtime, so that'd be nice.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be dry tomorrow and Saturday, and then maybe late Sunday when it's shutting down, you might get a stray shower or something. But we're going to have good weather for the bike ride. That's a big deal. My dad used to do bike riding like that, those long distance biking, and it's a big deal. So I'm looking forward to this weekend a lot, and I guess y'all are too.
Yes.
We're about out of time here, so y'all want to tell us anything you want us to know before we leave?
Just follow us.
Okay, follow
us on Facebook.
Okay.
We love to book private events. We're pretty reasonable.
You're affordable, huh?
We're affordable.
Okay.
Some people will balk in it, and it's like, well, try doing what we do.
I know you've done a couple of nonprofits.
Yes, that's near and dear to my heart. So I just got accepted to the board for the Burleson Center for ASD.
Rock and roll.
I have my first board meeting next week.
That is a great outfit.
And I have a brother that's autistic, so it's very near and dear to my heart. And these guys will do a free show, and they don't even gripe about it. They just come up and do it because they know it's the right thing to do. And
Lisa Boltinghouse has been here.
Love her.
Numerous times. In fact,
she might be there on Saturday night.
I would not doubt that. No, she's the one you need to have introduce you, not me. Lisa, no.
She's got a broken foot now, so she's on that little scooter thing.
She
right
can
now.
hobble up there.
It does have a ramp. I'm gonna. All right, yeah, there we go.
Yeah. We'll just, she can ride on up there. No
so
big
we've
deal.
done cystic fibrosis. We've done cancer. We've done the autism. It was sad. We did one for a young lady that had a brain tumor, and she ended up passing away a few months after the show. The wildfires in West Texas, or wherever it was at. Was it West Texas? Yeah, we did.
West Texas
we did a
time.
big fundraiser for that, and they raised all kinds of money, and supplies, and
Well, you're doing God's work, that's for sure.
we love it. We try to do one free show a year on that. So
Well, I know that Lisa has some event coming. She said we're supposed to have her on, I believe, the second week of June. I don't have the calendar in front of me, but it's sometime in June.
nice.
And I just love her because she's so full of fire. Once a year in September, we get all the nonprofits. We put them in Gina's Pizza, and they get like 7 or 8 minutes on the show. And that was Lisa's idea, really.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like I do several nonprofit shows because I'm like you. It's like, this is what my show is about. I mean, I could rant about Joe Biden's latest, whatever. I do a little of that. I'll be doing that Tuesday, in fact. I'll be talking about some politics, so you can look forward to that. But most of the time, it's business or the mayor, Victoria Johnson, that kind of thing. But I do some of the nonprofits. I'm just amazed at how many people really put themselves out for this community. It's astounding to me.
The same thing for the musicians of this Johnson County. Anytime somebody's in need, they all come together and do benefit shows and things like that. So.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to try to collect half hour, 45 minutes worth of local music and put it on the radio show. But I know 2 or 3 people that I could probably hit up on to see. And then if y'all know anybody, you know where to find me. You know, you can contact me. And
Absolutely,
said,
yeah.
So I appreciate what y'all do more than just the music. Y'all are excellent, and I'm sure that y'all are well worth the show.
Thank you. This is the cleanest podcast we've ever been on. So.
Well, yeah, it's good because sometimes
There's been some bad ones.
yeah, well, sometimes my mother listens, okay, you know, occasionally, so I got to keep reminding myself of that. Or Sherry Scott, I don't want her giving me the stink eye.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Josh, thanks for your help today. You did a little extra duty today, so we'll
Yes. Thanks,
you know,
Josh.
stars in your crown, Josh,
Appreciate it.
and I'll see y'all Tuesday about 11, and we'll be talking about stuff, things, whatever. Y'all take care.
Take care.
Y'all are great.